Hello everybody. On today's video I'm revisiting an old synthesizer, and it's probably one of the earliest apps that I bought for music when I got back into recording a couple of years ago. Now, a little bit of background to this. In the 1960s, if you wanted to have traditional orchestral sounds in your recording, you really had one option, which was to get a real orchestra. And as you can imagine, that was expensive, not very convenient, and in the early 60s, I think it was 1963, the Mellotron, and was really the first sampling keyboard, I guess. The creators of the instrument sampled a number of traditional instruments, and these samples were kept on tape loops within the machine itself. It was a keyboard instrument, so you pressed a key and that tape loop played. As a number of iconic tracks in the 60s used the Mellotron, so the sounds themselves have become quite iconic. Now, with all that background out of the way, this is the Streetlytron 63 app, and it's an iOS recreation of the Mellotron. In order to keep the app relatively small, the developers sampled, I think, every 3 notes. There is another version of Streetlytron, and we think it's called Streetlytron Pro, which you get all the samples in there. For most purposes, every 3 notes is absolutely fine. The only other point to mention is it is a standalone app, and it does have inter-app audio functionality, but it's not an AUV3, so that might be a limitation for you. But what I thought we'll do is we'll have a quick spin through some of these sounds and hear what it sounds like. So at the moment I've got the mixer knob in the center, which is B, or number 2. So I'll change the sounds in number 2 and we'll see what they sound like. Now, this is a 4-octave keyboard. If you go outside of that range, there's nothing, it's just silent. But this is your violin. So, quite a range. So it's unmistakably a violin. It's one of the, I think, one of the better sounds, really. The string section, so this would be more useful for chords. That's your lowest cello note. That's your highest cello note. And I think the thing to watch out for with a lot of these instruments is they make a lot more sense in the center of their range. As soon as you start getting to the extremes, they, to me at least, they sound a little less real. So in the middle, it's quite a nice cello sound. And again, the samples are set up in the ranges of the instrument themselves. So you can, if you played a C4 on the cello and the C4 on a violin, you'd have different octaves being played. So that's 2 cellos. sure what a watcher mix is. Then got some choirs. Have a listen to this. So that was a few voices. We've got brass. Played even worse than I would have done normally, just to avoid any copyright issues. But that's where your Miller brass comes from. Now, you might recognize this sound. And the flute's been used in quite a few famous tracks. Again, copyright reasons, we're not going to go too much further than that, but that's what your cor anglais sounds like. Can't beat a bit of bassoon. But that's one of the octave issues where the tuning just a little bit weird. But again, as long as you're not trying to play chords with it that way, you probably wouldn't notice it too much. the same with the swell. Cashier number 2, please. I am quite fond of the mandolins on Streetlytron because it's actually got the double string picking, whereas a lot of the time you get a mandolin sound and you just hit one note and that's all you get. So yes, it sounds a bit mandolin-ish, but it doesn't. It's not how a mandolin's played. Where this captures it much better. We have a Rhodes, which is one of the bonus ones. Which is quite nice. I mean, to be honest, the iOS ecosystem is awash with Rhodes pianos. The last one on here. I just thought I'd finish off by showing how to use this as an IAA, an interrupt audio with AUM. So if we just... Now what I've done, I've got a MIDI channel which is ASM, and I've just got some chords punched in there. Now if you want ASM to talk to interrupt audio, it's a little bit different compared to if it was talking to an AUV3. Normally with an AUV3 you get a little sort of a hamburger icon here which allows you to connect that app to a processor. Obviously there's a lack of it here, so the way to connect ASM to Streetlytron is to go up to this MIDI routing icon in the top corner. If you click that, it gives you this matrix which has got all the inputs along the top and all the destinations along the bottom. So if you see here, by ticking this box, we've got ASM being routed into Streetlytron, and that means that if we hit play, it will play Streetlytron as you'd expect it to do. And then you can of course add all the effects that you would normally add. What are we doing? And that's it, that's Streetlytron. a nice recreation of the Mellotron. There are other Mellotron versions out on iOS now, but this was the first one that I came across, and it's a nice instrument, but you do have to be mindful of how you use it because of a little bit of the tuning issues within the different octaves, and also with it being only drop audio, it does restrict the number of instances that you can use with it within your DAW. So it's doable, but there is that slight sort of complication there that you need to be aware of. I hope that was useful. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. If you're not already a subscriber, please hit that button as well. I'm trying to go through a lot of my older apps now and revisit them and see what's in there. Any questions, let me know, and failing that, I shall see you in the next one. Cheers for now.